welcome back to my Goddess Archetype series. My name is Emily Grace. I'm a feminine leadership coach and author, and I'm so excited to share with you my journey with Artemis over the last month and how you can connect with her more deeply. So Artemis is the wild woman. She is the goddess of the huntress, untamed daughter of the moon, protector of women and the natural world. So Artemis shows up when something in you wants to roam free. You're craving independence, clarity, and space to reconnect with your instincts. In this video, I let Artemis lead me through physical empowerment and emotional growth. I played tennis to reconnect with the competitive, focused part of me. I tried archery, a nod to Artemis's roots as the bow-bearing goddess. I spent time in nature, in forest trails, near waterfalls, growing plants, going to an herbal festival, getting herbs to make tea from that, and finding peace in this connection with nature. I also go to a basket weaving class on this beautiful farm and celebrate the strawberry moon with a ritual and altar. If you're new here, check out my video where I do a deeper dive on Artemis and her archetype linked here. I also do an overview of the goddess archetypes in general, which is really helpful, and I will also link that here. And finally, if you want to find out which archetype is most alive for you in this moment, take the free quiz linked in the description of this video. So in ancient Greece, Artemis thrived in the mountains, indulging in hunting and attuning herself to the moon's cycle. Nature is the key word that defines Artemis, setting her apart from her sister Athena, despite their strong shared energy of independent spirit. Physical energy drives Artemis, whereas mental energy drives Athena. So Artemis archetypes often grow up feeling different, more at home in forests than at parties, more empowered by movement than makeup. She may lean into sports or solo adventures as a way of building identity. And this is a really powerful way that Artemis helps you as you grow up. And something that I've experienced is doing group sports and using that as a stepping stool and building confidence and empowerment. And this can help her find strength through independence. This is the Artemis challenge. How do we embrace our wild, active nature while also exploring deeper connection, community, and femininity on our own terms? These practices help me integrate what many Artemis archetypes struggle with. Feeling out of place in modern life, or just feeling like you're on your own path that's different from everyone else. Using sports as a helpful stepping tool for identity, but also craving more community and emotional connection with others. And defining femininity in a way that feels authentic and not performative. So if you've ever felt too wild, too independent, or too different, this is for you. Let this be an invitation to reconnect with your instincts, your body, and the quiet power of Artemis within you. So the first thing I did is I went to this herb fest that took place here in Asheville, and it was such a special event where you could buy plants, but they also had a whole series of classes. So I went with a friend, and something that Artemis really loves is bonding with other women around nature and creativity and sports activities. So we took a class on growing tea.
All right, set your root ball of your plant down in that height, fill it with amended soil. All right, so if you got clay, you probably do, you're gonna amend that with a little bit of manure.
Honoring your cycle and turning to herbal medicine is one of the most Artemis-like things you can do. I really left feeling so inspired on how I can use plants to support my health. And not that I'm going to grow tea anytime soon, but it was really cool to just learn the process. It takes a long time, and just have respect for that process and gratitude that there are people teaching how to grow tea, and also that I live in an area where tea can thrive. It doesn't thrive in a lot of areas. So just having a better understanding of the plants that are available close to you and what kind of environment you live in can just help you feel connected to nature. So I have been having some cycle issues, maybe not issues, but pain around my cycle since last year. And I'm doing all that I can, along with working with a doctor, to support myself during the times I have my period. So I have been learning that red raspberry leaf is really supportive for menstrual health, as is nettle and yarrow. And so I bought these herbs at the festival, making myself a tea to support myself with this cycle. And it tastes so good. And these herbs are also beneficial for other reasons, emotionally and physically. Nettle is really helpful for allergies. And so I've been wanting it for that reason. And it just felt really empowering to get some herbs and just have like a mini holistic medicine cabinet. And I think that's really a powerful teaching of Artemis, is that we have nature all around us, and how can we just receive and utilize the abundance that is around us. I also picked up this Damiana herb, which, if you haven't tried it, it's such a powerful heart opener, and it really helps with anxiety. And I kind of use it the same way as cacao when I want more creativity or I'm feeling anxious. And it's an herb that really helped me during the pandemic to just feel safe and open in my body. And so yeah, I recommend trying out this herb for yourself and let me know what you think. One of the most grounding things I did this month was take a pine needle basket weaving class on a small farm in Burnsville, North Carolina. This Appalachian tradition runs deep in the mountains, an art form passed down by women who would gather together to weave and talk and pass time with their hands while tending to their homes and families. So, this was a very meditative process, and I went with a friend, and essentially we learned how to do it, but we did not complete it, which is what I was expecting. But it just reminded me that not all forms of strength are fast or forceful. Some are slow and steady and rooted in tradition, in sisterhood, in the quiet satisfaction of creating something lasting from nature. So these were pine needles just that were gathered in the woods at one point and linked together with some raffia. So this kind of activity connects me to the Artemis archetype in a softer way, one that values time spent in nature, reverence for the earth, and creativity being inspired from the earth, and the quiet power of women's hands. One of the most powerful ways Artemis has guided me is through my relationship with nature. A few years ago, I just felt this deep, undeniable pull to live closer to nature in the mountains. Even though it meant moving on my own, I followed that instinct. Now I live next to a waterfall and I've planted herbs outside my door. I wake up to bird song and the sound of flowing water, and that has completely changed how I relate to myself. And something that really drew me to this area was how many waterfalls there are around. And where I live is one of the most densely populated areas of waterfalls in Western North Carolina, just south of Asheville. And so I feel very blessed that I live around the corner from Looking Glass Falls here And there's just something so powerful and restorative about waterfalls. And Artemis really teaches us that nature isn't something we visit, it's something we belong to. But you don't have to live deep in the woods to feel her presence. Even in a city, you can find her energy in a local park or a hike. And I spend the day exploring the Biltmore grounds in Asheville with a friend and felt Artemis everywhere, especially in the stillness in this beautiful bamboo grove. So if you want a full Artemis immersion, go camping, go backpacking, and just let the wild reset and renew you, and let it remind you that you're part of something ancient and wise. Never expected to practice archery this month, but when I say Artemis works in mysterious ways, I mean it. At a local Chamber of Commerce event, I found myself face to face with a full archery setup, and it just felt so spontaneous but also completely meant to be. And as you'll be able to see, at first I was really bad at it. My arrows were just not hitting the target, and there was nothing really behind my strike. But I kept at it, and something shifted. When I finally hit center, I felt this electric sense of power and focus, and it was really about presence and not perfection. So that's the gift of Artemis and her bow. She doesn't expect you to be flawless. She just wants you to show up fully, to commit, and to aim with intention. So tennis has been part of my life since I was a kid. I played growing up and all through high school, but it's only recently that I've come back to it with fresh eyes, and I started taking lessons again and joined a weekly clinic. So when I recently went back to Boston, I played with my mom, and it's become so much more than just exercise. I've realized by connecting with Artemis, tennis is a way to reconnect with myself. There's something about the focus it requires, the mental clarity, the decision making in real time that's actually helped me feel more confident in other areas of my life too. On the court, I'm reminded that it's okay to mess up, reset, and try again. And this just carries over into my work and even my relationships. And it's just been a really great way to meet new friends and enjoy time with my family and be part of a community again without needing to compromise my independence. So it's very Artemis in that way, rooted in movement, strength, and choosing connection on your terms. So I highly recommend trying out tennis or any other sport that connects you to others in this way and really connects your mind as well. It can be really empowering. Under the full strawberry moon, I created an altar to honor Artemis and connect with her. And I included some herbal oracle cards that I actually picked up at the Herb Fest. So I selected Moonstone, which is a crystal to connect with Artemis, a frog-shaped malachite crystal, which is anything animal-shaped connects with Artemis, and this was really a moment to release old stories and realign with my truth. One way to connect with Artemis is to start tracking the moon. So you can get a lunar calendar app and start to just notice the full moon, how you're feeling emotionally when that comes up, and the same with the new moon. I invite you to try out these affirmations to connect with Artemis. So that was my journey with Artemis, a goddess who reminds us that strength and sensitivity can coexist, that solitude can be sacred, and that we don't need to mold ourselves to anyone else's idea of womanhood. Through movement, nature, herbs, and ritual, I got to reconnect with the wild, intuitive part of me that's always just been there, waiting for this space to step into and breathe. If you see yourself in Artemis, if you've ever felt like an outsider, the one who needs more space, more nature, more truth, then you're not alone. There's wisdom in your instincts, and there's power in walking alone. Thank you for coming along with me. Let me know in the comments, how does Artemis show up in your life? And what helps you reconnect with your wildness? I'm curious which of these practices you are going to try. I think my favorite was the archery, because I never realized how empowering it is to aim at something, shoot, and reach your target. If you haven't yet, check out the rest of the Goddess Archetype series and take the free quiz to discover which archetype is guiding you right now. Links in the description. And until next time, trust your path, trust your pace, and remember that your wild is sacred.